You will almost certainly be aware that the award-winning series Planet Earth returns to the BBC this weekend for its third instalment. Lauren did a brilliant People's Playlist this week to mark the start of the new series. And the series producer, Matt Brandon, is here with me this afternoon. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Good, thanks, mate. And also with me, Dan from Bastille Dan, who's worked with Hans Zimmer on the soundtrack to this series. Hi, Dan.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. Matt, the trailer for the new series is spectacular, and it feels like there's hope and positivity.
Hope and positivity, absolutely at the core of what we're doing. So an 8-part series, travel all over the world. It's full of beauty, awe and wonder, but we're also looking at the world through a new lens.
And what is that new lens?
We've had a greater impact on the natural world in the last couple of decades than possibly ever before in human history. So we're looking at the impact that we are having on the animals that live around the world, and also the amazing adaptations that allow them to thrive still in this changing world.
How long did it take to film?
We started making the series around about 5 years ago. Wow. So it's a long old time.
That's mad.
That is crazy.
They did a sort of premiere screening thing last week, and it was the first time, because I did a lot of the work remotely, it was the first time we got to meet loads of people, like particularly the producers and directors of each episode, and it's been 5 years of their lives. Like it's just the sheer amount of kind of workforce, of skill, of time, of effort, of thought that's gone into it, not just from them, but all the people shooting remotely, all around the world. Just the amount of hours that have gone into it is kind of staggering.
I assume this embraces the new and future challenges that animals face.
Yeah, absolutely. And those challenges are challenges that we face as well. We feel human impact can be felt in every habitat around the world, and by us and by all the animals that we share the planet with. So it feels like a very important series.
Dan, when did you get on board?
So earlier this year, we were in the States, and I went to Hans's studio. And I went and met Jacob and Sarah, who did a lot of the work with Hans, and Russell, who runs it sort of offhand, said, "Oh, would you be up for maybe getting involved a bit in Planet Earth?" And I was like, trying to play it cool, but obviously that's like the absolute dream. If you'd asked me to wish for a more ideal job, I wouldn't even have gone there, because it would have been too good. And then it sort of got the go ahead, and we did some work in a studio in London. And then I just started to be sent scenes. We've been on tour all year, so I'd get these, my inbox I'd open it up, and there'd be an amazing snow leopard scene, or like these octopuses in the depths of the ocean, giving birth, and these just amazing scenes, and just asked to sort of respond musically. But, a lot of the experience for me was backstage rooms or upstairs on the bus before everyone came on and the bus had to leave, with the headphones on and a microphone, just layering up big stacks and choirs of myself, and then sending it to the composer we were working with and seeing what they thought and bouncing it back and forth. Then they had the idea of reworking Pompeii, Hans doing a version of Pompeii, which for me is one of the most incredible things to happen. I'm such a huge fan of his scores and so many of his compositions, and so to have that as a thing was really amazing. And it's just 10 years on, to have that song have a different life in a place that I never could have imagined it would have. It's very surreal.
It's even more dramatic than the original. What went into the remake?
I guess with Hans, you sort of know you're going to get scale and bombast, and it's we are not without bombast in our band, and it comes from making all our music in a bedroom. And I guess with that, it was like slowing it down, bringing out different moments, and it really crescendos, almost to the point when I first heard it. Obviously I was incredibly excited, but I was like, this is almost ridiculously big by the end.
Yeah.
And it was amazing getting to work with the BBC Wales Orchestra, and a bunch of amazing local singers there as well. So it's a real group effort.
And Matt, it couldn't be more fitting, could it?
It's sort of unreal how well the pictures and the music and the words, the sentiment in that song are so perfect.
The hope, the optimism.
I think there's an escapism that maybe existed in the first couple, where you could always pretend that humanity didn't exist and that we hadn't had an effect. And I think this brilliantly kind of confronts that head on. The seriousness of the situation is there, but there's also a lot of drama. There's really funny moments as well, and it's really hopeful. There are really incredible examples of places where humanity's backed away a little bit, and the natural world has kind of managed to move back in and reclaim what was there initially.
And that programme that Dan was talking about is all about extraordinary people who are doing extraordinary things to look after the planet's wildlife and our wild places. These two women that they take these eggs, an extincted bird called in Europe called a bald ibis. They take the eggs out of a zoo, and they become their foster mothers. So they hatch the eggs. They do everything from like literally wiping their bums to feeding them until they grow up. And then they have to teach them how to migrate over the Alps. And they do that by jumping in a microlight and flying over the Alps.
It's amazing. Even you just saying that out loud, I get shivers again. It's so emotional.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The proud mother look of that. They're doing it. They're doing it. It's so amazing. It's so incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
All of this makes me very proud to work for the BBC.
Oh, us too.
Yeah, same.
Matt, Dan, thank you so much. Here comes the rework then of Pompeii. This is Pompeii 2023 by Bastille, and Planet Earth 3 will begin on BBC One and on iPlayer on Sunday evening at 6:15. Matt, Dan, thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.